Okay, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And just want to say I appreciate those of you who have turned up live for my presentation today. The title of which is You Don't Need Seeds, You Need Signals. The mental health shift that no one is talking about. And I just want to first off say Jazakallah khair to the organizers for putting together this excellent marathon of a webinar and thinking well of me to invite me. We've had some excellent speakers on, excellent experts. Allahumma barik. So just a little bit about me for those of you who don't know me. My name's Faria, and I'm a health, wellness, and a nutrition coach with a special interest in circadian health and insulin resistance. You can reach out to me via WhatsApp. I have a private group and also Instagram. My handle is there at Healthful Wellness Coach. I help busy mums reignite their self-healing capabilities that, alhamdulillah, we've all been blessed with very easy steps through a no supplements or diet approach. Some of the things that I've helped women to achieve are things like easy weight loss, balancing their hormones without supplements, and gaining more energy even when they've given up coffee. We've also had a lot of success in improving the mental health of sisters who have been diagnosed as clinically depressed, suffering with bipolar, schizophrenia, and those with severe to mild anxiety, all through very simple lifestyle changes, no supplements, and no huge dietary changes. And just before I begin, just a short disclaimer. The information that I provide for you today is for educational purposes only. It is not intended to diagnose or cure. If you do have a serious medical concern, then please reach out to a qualified practitioner. And I have sessions like this every couple of weeks for my live group. And I want this just to be another session that you turn up in, another podcast that you're listening to, another, health seminar. I want it to actually count for you today. And the best way that you can do that is by active participation as well as listening. So interact with me today in the chat, share your questions as they come up in your mind, share what resonates with you. Did you have any light bulb moments? Did you hear something new? I'd love to hear that from you guys in the chat box, inshallah. So in my title, when I talk about seeds, I am referring to actually like the physical seeds, that you often hear people mentioning, take these seeds to help balance your cycle, take this, for whatever reason it is, right? But there are also other seeds when it comes specifically to mental health that most people think the best way to cure it is about planting seeds, or is the fact that we don't have these seeds in our life. And I mean things like seeds of positivity, seeds of good habits, seeds of self-discipline, seeds of motivation. People often think that they're held back because they're just lazy or because they lack motivation, but this isn't always the case. And don't get me wrong, all of these seeds definitely important. We can't get anywhere in life when we don't have positivity, when we don't have motivation, right? But here is the hard truth. You could find the best organic, heirloom seeds out there. And you can plant the best seeds in the world. Put your gardening gloves on, do all that hard graft, do what it is that you need to do. But if the signals are wrong, nothing's going to grow. No sprouts, no leaves, and definitely not any flowers. Now, if you think about a garden, because I usually like to share an analogy that makes the concept easier for you to understand. And the best one for this would be like a garden, right? If the soil is frozen and the sun, it never shines, planting the best, most expensive seed that you could find in the most expensive soil, you know, the best fertilized soil that you've got, the homemade compost, whatever it is, nothing will happen. And it's not because the seeds are bad in and of themselves. And it's not because the soil is of the wrong type. It's because the environment that they're in is telling them this isn't the right time to grow. They will respond to that environment more than anything else, even if you decided to water that soil and nurture that soil with Fiji water. Wouldn't matter. Nothing's happening here. Now have a guess and think about what else works in exactly the same way. Our bodies and our minds are exactly the same. It's not just what we do, because I've spoken to sisters over the years, many sisters, and they tell me, well, I eat well. I look after myself. I don't eat junk. I've stopped sugar. And I exercise. I join the gym. I do classes. And I take supplements, the best ones that I can afford. And this was me. This was me for 5 to 7 years straight. They're doing everything in the health world that they view as correct, but they're just not seeing results. So it's just not what we do. It's what our body is being told by the signals it's receiving. And it always prioritizes what the signals say as opposed to what you actually do. So just to give you a little insight about myself, I started the journey personally for myself and my family at least 13, 14 years ago now. Allahumma barik. And during that time, you know, when we'd realized, okay, maybe we need to switch to organic food, right? This is why we're not feeling so great. Did that. We ate 100% organic, talking about down, you know, from your rice to your flours, to your meat, to your eggs, to your milk. It was 100% organic for 5 to 7 years straight. And I personally still had the health issues that I thought would be resolved by doing this. You know, I was working out, you know, I was taking the best, most expensive supplements that I could find, you know, 100% food-based, all of that, doing my research on them. And I still had health issues. I had recurrent miscarriages. I was always low in energy. I'd find that I was always snapping at the kids, like my skin didn't look so great, and I couldn't understand what it was. And it's only when I figured out, hey, you know what? It's my lifestyle. My body doesn't know that it's in the right mode for healing. When I switched that up, then things changed. Allahumma barik. And that's what I want you guys to get by the end of my session today. That you'll know exactly what signals your brain and your body need for better mood, better focus, and more emotional balance. And why just working on your mindset alone might be keeping you stuck. I hold the free live session for my private group every fortnight, and I always want the session to have something that you take away and implement. Because look, reality is we're in this age of information. And I don't want this to be just, like I said, another thing that you're listening to where, you know, it sounds good, you like it, but then you leave the session and you just carry on as is. You do nothing about the information that you've just heard. I don't want this session to be like that for you ladies. I want this session that you leave and you take away and impact your life for good, inshallah. So stay till the end, bi'idhnillah, to know exactly what steps you need to take to start improving your signals to your body. And then I want you to start doing, inshallah. And anyone who is here live and, you know, they reach out, you know, and they actually start implementing and you notice something in you, I want you to reach out to me and let me know, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. And I'd love to be able to offer you a complimentary health consultation, if you do that and you notice a change, bi'idhnillah, to help you further improve yourself, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. So I just want to share with you ladies here something about a client of mine and what she experienced with her mental health. And it's actually a couple of clients because they were in similar sort of situations. For her and her mental health situation, it was rapidly declining. It had built up from mild anxiety to clinical depression and then being sectioned under the Mental Health Act and diagnosed with bipolar. Qadar Allah, with the amount of sisters that I speak to, mental health concerns are up there with one of the most common ailments. If it comes from a place of emotion, if it comes from a place of stress, it's there. And having worked with a handful experiencing this, I can clearly see that there's a pattern emerging. And it's not to do with their diet and the fact that it's poor. Obviously, that has some implications, but that isn't the main critical factor. It isn't also to do with their lack of exercise or their poor mindset. It was largely to do with their lifestyle. When we shifted that, we witnessed huge leaps in their mental health without the need to focus on supplements or huge dietary changes. And these are some of the kinds of messages that I received. This sister was saying, I've been suffering with a lot of mental health and trauma issues. And as a result, it has affected me physically too, with digestive issues and gut health. This is what happens. And I'm sure you guys are listening to Yusuf, it's correct in the sense that the system is one. One thing gets impacted, and just like a domino effect, you're 100% sure that something else is going to be impacted too, right? It's one system. Nothing ever gets sick in isolation and nothing ever heals in isolation. Okay, so this is one thing to bear in mind. And she says, and I'm sure a lot of you may know how that can not just affect yourself, it affects everyone around you, especially your close loved ones, right? Those of you who have had emotional issues, mental health issues, you know this to be the case. And it's usually the husband and the children who take the brunt of whatever we're experiencing. And she says, believe me when I say I was in a really dark place for many, many years. Faria's program not only helped me with all the above, but I've also lost 10 kilos. I'm just a few kilos away from my pre-marital weight, which I have never been able to shift. Allahumma barik. And this is the beauty of it. When you start healing or taking steps even to look after yourself, to look after your mental health, you notice these things. And then you know, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, what you're doing is actually working, and what you're doing is actually helping you long term. And this is how the body should work. When you start to work on one area, you see an improvement in another. Alhamdulillah. And this sister, one of the other major things is that my moods have improved a lot. Usually a week before my periods, I would have headaches and I'd be really angry with my immediate family members for little things and just be emotional. So far, I haven't experienced all of the above. Another sister says, I genuinely feel better within my body, alhamdulillah, which again is a great deal for me. Honestly, I cannot express so much in words how much better I feel within myself. One thing for sure is, bi'idhnillah, I will be doing this routine for the rest of my life. And remember, ladies, these kind of changes that you start experiencing with your mental health, with your physical health, with your emotional health, with weight loss, with your hormones, it doesn't have to be taking you years to start to overcome. Even if you've had these issues 10 years, 5 years, 7 years, which I've usually see, and which is the case for many of us as women. Yes, we have health issues, but we don't tend to address them straight away. We wait. Sometimes we wait until it's at breaking point. But that doesn't mean that it should take another 10 years to heal. If you are taking on the right strategy, if you are giving your body the right foundational stuff that it needs, it shouldn't take this long. And this is what we've seen. This sister had these results within about 6 weeks. Allahumma barik. The weight loss, I would say it started straight away. And for her to hit the 10 kilos, she did that within, I would say, 4 to 5 months. Allahumma barik. And this other sister, mentally and emotionally, I feel much more relaxed than I was in previous weeks. And she felt that within our third session. I feel so much better, no fatigue, more energy, less sluggish. This is what you should be noticing when you are on a health journey, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, working with a practitioner. This is why it's so important to work with someone. Don't try and waste time, waste your life by trying to figure it out yourself, because this is another thing that I see with a lot of sisters. They think, you know what, we've got so much information out there, and they hear this from their husbands, unfortunately, very often. You can just Google it, you can just chat GPT it, and you'll be able to figure it out, right? You are not going to get that same interaction, that same personalization for you until you actually step up and invest in yourself, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. And what more benefit is there than investing in your health? Subhanallah, the one major blessing that we have, that when we lose it, we lose everything. You don't even need me to say that to you guys. Subhanallah, you can just see it from family members, from people around you. When they've lost their health, it doesn't matter then how much money you have saved up for that rainy day. It doesn't matter then if you live in a huge mansion, because you can't even enjoy it. Subhanallah, our health is really a huge blessing, and a lot of us, many of us, we do not appreciate it until it's gone. So don't be like that, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. Reach out, shorten that journey. And Allahumma barik, I'm Yusuf, a go-to person for so many sisters, and the amount of experts that she's brought into this webinar, there's going to be someone for you that can help you, inshallah. So reach out, bi'idhnillah. Okay. So, and just so you know, ladies, what I noticed with the women that I worked with, and I have the honor of working with, Allahumma barik, is that every single time that their mental health improved, so did other aspects of their health, especially weight loss. Okay, it becomes almost effortless. And that's how it should be, because remember, your body knows what it has to do. Allah has blessed us with a body that can self-heal. It has self-healing capabilities. We just need to go back and reignite them, inshallah. So if it feels like this is you, doing all the right stuff, watching your food, making those dietary shifts, working out, maybe doing even the journaling, you've stepped up, practicing gratitude, but you're still feeling anxious, you're still feeling heavy, and you're feeling exhausted, then it's time to try a fresh approach, ensuring that your body is receiving the correct signals every single day. Because just this simple step was the realization that changed everything for myself and for the women that I've worked with. So for those of you who may never have heard of an approach like this, which focuses more on lifestyle, the things that actually don't cost you anything to do, more than anything else, then know that there's actually science behind it. It's not just some kind of, yes, we need to take these shifts on, we need to focus on positive thinking. It's not just something that is a fad approach. There's scientific studies behind it. And in 2018, there's a study produced in Frontiers, and it's in neuroscience. And what they found was that when your body's natural clock, your circadian rhythm, is disrupted, it changes the way that your brain releases important chemicals like serotonin and dopamine. So what are these two hormones? Serotonin is your calm and content chemical. And dopamine is your motivation and reward chemical. If your internal clock is off, those chemicals get released at the wrong times or in the wrong amounts. So you might end up feeling anxious in the morning for no reason at all. And has that ever happened to you when you wake up and you think, oh my God, like that feeling of impending doom and you don't even know why? You just feel like, oh, it's just going to be one of those rough days today. You might wake up feeling flat and unmotivated even after you've had a good night's sleep. And these hormones, they need to be released every single day. If they are not released and gained naturally as they should be, then your body will seek them elsewhere. That could look like food, sugar, coffee. It could look like binge doom scrolling, right? Because these things will give us dopamine hits, and our body and our brain craves that. We have been told for years that maybe you just need to think more positively for someone who's having mental health issues. Maybe you just need to work on your mindset. You're just a big pessimist. You're always thinking the worst case scenarios. Why don't you just try a bit harder? And for those who struggle with mental health issues, they are doing these things. And maybe even more from what I've noticed. They step up. They don't want to be stuck in that loop. It's draining on them. It's draining on their family around them. But this is the thing to understand. Your brain is a biological organ. You can't think your way out of a body that's sending the wrong danger signals to your brain. So let me give you this example. If, say, you have like a smoke alarm in your kitchen, right? This smoke alarm is only supposed to ring when there's smoke, right? When there's real danger. Yeah, unless you're like, not so great in the kitchen like me, and often things burn a little bit and that smoke alarm just goes off, right? But generally it's supposed to be there for an emergency purpose, right? Now, say for example, this smoke alarm, the wiring in it is faulty and it just starts blaring at random. Now, if you've ever had that happen and it's the middle of the night, it's not fun, right? Or if you can remember being at school and doing, one of the lessons that you actually liked and the fire alarm went off for no reason, right? So it could start blaring at random if there's some fault in it, right? And even if there's no fire, you're still going to be acting on that alarm. You're still going to be doing something, right? Running out of the house, checking. And this is exactly how our nervous system works. Okay? If it misreads the signals, it can keep you in alert mode, even when you're safe. And in that state, you can't feel calm. You won't feel focused or joyful, no matter how many positive thoughts you try to plant. Because the truth of the matter is the body cannot be in two modes at one time. Now, for those of you who follow me for what have been following me or you know of me, then you know that I talk about morning light exposure. And we know that it's vital for anyone with mental health concerns. The other thing to also understand, though, in the same breath, is the impact of artificial blue light at night, because this is a critical factor. Some people think, okay, yeah, maybe I just need to get more sun. I've read about the connection of low D3 levels and, people with mental health issues. I know that in the winter I feel worse because we don't have enough D3. I just need to get out more. But then they fail to realize that the other side of the coin, just as we have day and it has its rules and it has what our body needs from it, the same is also for the night. Harvard researchers found that exposure to blue light from phones and screens at night can delay the release of melatonin. Now, melatonin is a critically important hormone. It isn't just a sleep hormone. It isn't something that you can just take in the form of a pill and rectify all your issues. It's the switch that tells your brain, hey, it's nighttime. Hey, it's time to rest. It's time to repair. It's time to heal. It's the boost that your brain needs to do its cleansing job at night efficiently, because if you are not sleeping well, you are not healing well at all. If you delay the release of melatonin, your sleep quality drops. Your stress hormones stay higher at night. And here's the other important factor. Your risk for depression increases. It's like keeping the lights on in your garden 24/7. The plants are going to get confused. They're going to stop thriving. Now, Dr. Stephen Porges, he's a well-known expert in nervous system health, and he developed the polyvagal theory. And he explains that your nervous system has two main settings: the safe mode, where you can connect, you can think clearly, you can feel at peace. Then there's the threat mode, where you're just surviving and not thriving. Now, the thing to understand is that your body decides which mode you're in based on the signals it receives. And this could be anything from your external environment. Anything like your posture, your breathing, what light you are under, the tone of the voice or voices around you. If those cues constantly scream danger, your body will keep you stuck in survival, even if you are safely at home. So, we now know that the basis of optimal mental health is down to the signals that your body receives. So how can we improve the signals that we send to our body? How can we truly make our system understand that it is safe and that it can heal? Okay, because a system is never going to be able to heal mentally, physically, emotionally until it feels safe. How can we create those systems of safety in our body easily? And this is where we take knowledge into action. Okay, so take note, inshallah, be ready to start implementing into your life, ladies. Take that step up. Start improving your health for good, inshallah. And you can do that by introducing these 4 steps. So the very first step is morning light exposure. Get outside in the mornings, even if it's only a few minutes. You want to do this without sunglasses or contact lenses. Alhamdulillah, very pleasant to do it now. It's the summer, right? So give it a go. Get yourself into good habits, bi'idhnillah. This step, it resets your body clock and it tells your brain, hey, it's morning. It's time to release those happy chemicals. Now, the second step, because remember, simplicity is the key here, ladies. Okay, we want to keep things simple. We want to keep things easy for you. This is what keeps you taking these steps every single day, not just giving up, not just doing something for 2 weeks and saying, okay, you know what, stuff this, I'm done. We don't want that, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. The perfect example I can give you is, you cannot say, and I don't think anybody will ever say, hey, I hoovered my floor once when I moved into my house and I don't need to do it again. No, I've swept the floor once and that's sufficient. You know how much dust can accumulate. You know how much crumbs those kids make. That sweeping needs to be done on a daily. Same with our body. It needs those signals, it needs those cues on a daily basis. But let's keep it simple. This is not about getting up and getting a gym membership and heading out in, your Lululemons, right? And I hope nobody wears them anyway, but that's what I'm saying. Inshallah, we need just simple things that you can be doing. This is the first step. This is going to change your life, bi'idhnillah. Okay. Step number 2. Don't skip breakfast. It's a simple change that will help keep your blood sugars balanced, which helps keep your mood stable instead of your body having to rely on cortisol to keep you going. I see this so often with sisters. SubhanAllah, oh, I can't eat breakfast in the morning. I don't have an appetite. I'm just not used to it. And we do it. And I know I've done it, right? Because it just suits us. It suits the timing. It suits us having to rush out with the kids to get them to school or to classes. If we're rushing off to work in the morning, it suits us just to skip it because it's just like, oh, it's a long step. Another thing for me to worry about in the morning, right? But that step of saying, hey, you know what, leaving it is impacting your mood, it impacts your mental health, it impacts your hormones, it impacts your blood sugars, it even impacts your metabolism. There's so many things. Okay, blood sugar spikes and crashes, they're not just a physical thing, they're an emotional roller coaster. Simple thing to try and do, inshallah. Step number 3, prioritize quality sleep. It's an opportunity you are given every single night to really allow your body to properly detox, to properly heal, and to properly repair itself. SubhanAllah, the body knows what it needs to do. You just need to give it the environment for it to do it. Again, this doesn't cost you anything. But most people, they won't take on these simple shifts. Why? Because they're so used to procrastinating their sleep. They're so used to that nighttime empty doom scrolling. They're so used to not prioritizing themselves. And they've associated that silence at night as me time, as an opportunity to eat sugar in peace. And that was me. There was nothing that I looked forward to more in the day for that moment of sugar and silence when the kids were in bed. No one's going to be asking me, can I have a biscuit? Can I have some of your tea? Right? It was just me. And I loved those times, subhanAllah. But look, didn't serve me well, and it doesn't serve your body well. Take back your nights. Use them for what they are supposed to be used for. And finally, step number 4. Just as our bodies require those signals of safety every single day, then so does our nervous system. And because there's so much that impacts this today, just taking small moments to connect with yourself can be life-changing. So pause during the day. Just close your eyes, even if you're by the sink, washing up, whatever it is you're doing. Pause, close your eyes, and slow your breathing down. Take a short inhale and a longer exhale, slowly out of your mouth. And just notice how your body feels. Notice your shoulders relax. Notice how your jaw becomes loose. Simple steps, inshallah. And some people will say, some sisters I speak to, and they say to me, this seems too simple to have an effect. How can it be that these things can actually make a difference to my body? And I just want to show you just how powerful simple changes can be. Just going to share with you, ladies, a couple of testimonials, how it can really impact your health long term. And we're not talking about short term here. Allahumma barik. I have had sisters who've completed the program that I offer. Year later, they're still doing it. They're still reaping the benefits in their health. So this sister who said, I mostly had irregular periods for 7 years. And alhamdulillah, for 2 months, it's been regular now. 7 years, she had a shift in weeks. Another sister, 20 kilos lighter. She did that in 5 months. Allahumma barik. Another sister, I was feeling hungry more often. I've been eating more, but I haven't gained weight. I found that really interesting. I haven't made any other changes except those that you've asked us to do. And I'm 3 kilos down. This sister hadn't lost any weight for 3 years straight. And she was able to start noticing a shift in her weight, I would say within 2 to 3 weeks. The biggest improvement I have seen was during my period the last month. Alhamdulillah, I was not clotting as much. The flow was not as heavy as usual. I want to see how my cycle is this month to compare. So we're not just talking about weight loss. We're not just talking about emotional health or moods. We're talking about hormonal health here. I'm happy I took the opportunity because when I hit menopause, inshallah, I know it's not going to be a shamble. Inshallah. This is what we want, because if you want your older senior years to be living gracefully, living with strength, it's not going to happen then. It's going to happen with that woman that you're looking at in the mirror at every single day today. She's going to be the one that is going to make your senior years full of strength and vitality, bi'idhnillah ta'ala. And that's what we want, inshallah. I was able to change my lifestyle and I've lost almost 5 kilos. I never thought losing weight is possible without diet and exercise. And I'm also able to fast for days without being tired and lethargic, alhamdulillah. And this is a very important point, just to say here, because look, we know that we are here on this earth for a reason. We know that Allah has sent us here to worship Him alone. And there is one thing that, that I hope for the women that I work with, that doing this, strengthening their body, improves their ibadah. Alhamdulillah, Allahumma barik. I have sisters who said to me, I couldn't make sujood. Now I can. Put my head on the floor. I couldn't fast in Ramadan because I was breastfeeding, because I was tired. As I got older, I noticed I couldn't hack it anymore. And Allahumma barik, that changed for them, and that is something that I just look forward to hearing from sisters, Allahumma barik. Because that's what we want to see, right? If we make all these changes, we make these investments in ourselves and we don't see a benefit in our ibadah, then what's the point? So, with the right strategy, simple steps can make a big difference, and it can be this transformational for you too. If you've been planting seeds for years, but nothing's blooming, if you've been taking all the right steps and notice nothing, then it's time for you to change the signals. And that's exactly what I offer on my 6-month group coaching program called Balance and Thrive. That's what it's designed to do. Give you a step-by-step, easy approach, customized to your life, so your body and mind finally work with you and not against you. It's a simple process that you can integrate into your life without it feeling like you need some kind of willpower to do it. You're not broken. You're not doing something that is wrong. You're just out of rhythm. When you change the signals, you change the way your body responds and reacts to the world around you. And the beautiful thing, you already have the seeds. So come and join the women who are transforming their lives for good. Now, if this session resonated with you, then reach out to me via WhatsApp or Instagram. I'm going to, inshallah, just share my private community link in the chat for you now, where I have exclusive live sessions every fortnight, where you're more than welcome to join. And I upload those sessions on my YouTube channel. So you're very much able to go back and listen to ones that are there, bi'idhnillah. Just put that for you guys there. And my Instagram handle is there. I have a lot of content for you guys to access there too, inshallah. Jazakallah khair for being here and listening to the end. And I appreciate all of you here and the organizers too. Barakallah feekum, and we'll take some questions now. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
MashaAllah, Lambaik, very, very clear, very precise talk. There are some questions, Sister Faria, in the chat